All right, guys, so the next step to your active reading is now to take your active reading and move it into your graphic organizer. And so we're going to be practicing this skill and going to be moving it into a little different as we move through the year. We've done our active reading strategy, and since you guys seem to be struggling with the explanation, I'm going to show you how to make it really easy. So what I'm going to do is I have my article in front of me, but what I'm going to do is start with setting up the graphic organizer. So in my writing notebook, I'm now going to start with, just like normal, our intro, so our introduction. We're going to go body 1, but it's going to look a little different this time. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, automatically I'm going to do 1, A, C, and E. And on E, I'm going to put 5 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One for each line. I'm going to do the same thing for number 2, A, C, E, and 5 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to do the same thing for body paragraph number 3, A, C, E, and it looks like I'm going to be running out of room, and that's okay. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, and then I could even go to the side for 5, or I might want to go to the back of my paper, but for today I'm going to try and keep it all on the same page so you guys can see it. So as we're working through this ACE, you're going to know that A is going to be my main idea. Okay, so main idea, what is it about? And so all my A's are going to be, again, my main idea. And I know that in the past, we already know what the C is, and that is our cited evidence, because this is our race strategy minus the A. Sometimes, when we're answering questions, we use the restate, answer, cite, and explain. Well, in this one, we don't have a question. We're answering specifically. We're looking at body paragraphs, and we're answering one overall question. So almost our R is going to be in our introduction. And so we have A, that answer, our short answer is going to be our main idea. Then the C is going to be our cited evidence. This is where our quotation marks are going to come in, and we're going to find that in just a moment. And then our E is going to be our explanation. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Now, in order to do this task, you're going to need colored pencils. So you're going to need to get 3 different color pencils. And so I have 3 pens here. You could use a pen too if you wanted to, but 3 colored pencils is probably best so you can erase if you need to. I'm going to start with my, I'm going to start the blue one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle with my first color pencil the number 1. I'm going to know that everything from the article that I'm going to pull in blue is going to go with body paragraph number 1. So I'm going to know my short answer is going to be, underlined, and then my cited evidence all in blue. Now, I have to look back in order to understand what I'm going to be writing about. I have to understand the prompt topic. And in this prompt topic, we went through and we did that same active reading strategy, and we know that it asked us for steps and how this young man created his business or became an entrepreneur. So I know that my A, my main idea, is going to include a step. And I want to know if you can answer, what is the first step? What is the first thing that he did? So I'm going to say, for my example, I'm going to say his first step was he created a solution to a problem. Now, this is going to include all the information about his research and his parents giving him kind of that, challenge. So I'm going to be able to include that, but it's going to come in my explanation. So a solution to a problem. So that's my main idea. I want something that stands out. What is it? Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the rest of looking at them because I want to fill in my A first. What is my main idea? So this pen is going to go with this one. Also, then my number 2, I'm going to use green for my second main idea. And I'm going to know that my next step, if I said, what did Shabaham have to do next in order to start his business? So he created a solution to a problem. What was his next step? He needed money. So I'm going to put money, and I know that he got money from Intel because we've read the article. So I'm going to put Intel on here I'm going to put it in parentheses so that we know. So my number 2, I'm going to circle that in green so I know that all my evidence is going to be in green, is money. That was his second step to make his business grow or for him to become an entrepreneur. And he got money from Intel. So I'm going to put my color pencil or my pen here. And then my last one is going to be, remember that problem of the future. What is he going to face in the future? And my problem in the future, he is going to face the customers, right? So he's going to need more. Is he going to have enough customers? So I'm going to put enough customers. Okay. Now, that's the only thing that I'm going to write in pen or color pencil on my graphic organizer. The rest of my information I'm going to make sure that I write in pen, but I'm going to use my colored pencils or my pens inside of my article. It's going to help me when I'm going back to use and find the information. So make sure that you have your graphic organizer set up just like mine, and we're going to go ahead and get started on filling in the information. Okay, so go ahead and get that started, and I'll be back with you to fill in the information. All right, guys, so the next step is we're going to be connecting our graphic organizer to our active reading. What we're going to do is we're going to look at connecting and finding our main idea. So I know that before when I wrote my graphic organizer, I said a solution to a problem. So this is what this Shabaham did. He created a solution to a problem. So I'm going to find it one sentence that's going to really explain that. So one that I'm going to cite that gives me the best definition of a solution to a problem. And so I'm going to use the sentence that I marked here that says, using pieces from a Lego set, Shabaham created a cheap Braille printer for his school science fair. Now remember, I'm using my blue pencil, or if you have a color pencil, whichever one you decided for your number 1, you're going to underline that, and that is going to be used in my graphic organizer. So I'm going to place my article on one side, and I know it's kind of hard to see because it's so large, but I've got my article on one side and I've got my writing graphic organizer on the other, and now I'm going to cite evidence. Now remember I said I really didn't want to use your colored pencil to write on your graphic organizer. But I'm going to use this pen so I can just kind of keep my ideas together. And it's a pen so you can see it a little better. But this is where you would want to pick up your pencil and really fill in if you've got a color pencil. But if you've got some colored pens, this is perfect for you. So citing evidence. Now remember, I'm going to use exactly what's in the article. So I'm going to start with, I'm just going to put my quotations here, and I'm going to give the first couple of just words. And remember, this is my graphic organizer, so I don't want full sentences, but I'm going to give myself enough clue to tell me what exactly I need to include or which sentence I'm going to use. So I'm going to say using pieces from a Lego set. Ooh, I want to make that lowercase, set. Okay. And then I'm going to put a little ... to let myself know that I need to fill or finish filling that in from my writing. Okay, so I'm making sure that I know that I've got to finish that. However, at this very point in time, I don't need to fill in the whole sentence. Unless you want to, then you certainly can. Now I'm going to go to the article because I'm now going to be finding my explanation. And this is where most of you are struggling. So this is where we're going to go back to that active reading. So in the steps, we have our cited evidence, but I want to know what else in the article connects my information or my quote or my cite to the steps that he used to start a business. And so I'm going to use some key words, and I'm going to create sentences, paraphrasing, so not copying, citing the evidence, but paraphrasing, using my own words to explain it. But I'm going to use the article for reference because I got the information from the article. I didn't just make it up myself. So now I'm going to look and see how can I reference from the article and paraphrase my own words. So I know that he uses pieces and he creates a printer. So the first step, though, I think he did, or to kind of connect that, would say that using pieces from the Lego set, he was able to create, I'm going to go back and say, right, that a solution, a smart solution. So I'm going to say a smart solution And why? I'm going to put because. What was the problem? Braille printers cost a lot of money. And I'm just going to put a dollar sign there so that you know that they cost a lot of money. So he made a smart solution because Braille printers cost a lot of money. And he knows that they cost a lot of money because he did what? Research. As a matter of fact, his dad kind of challenged him, right? So I'm going to put research on here. So he knows that they cost a lot of money because he did some research on, I'm not even going to put Braille. I'm going to put on what? How blind, I'm going to go down, people read. Okay, so I'm going to go in my article now because I'm going to kind of reference back. So I'm going to go and underline. So, I might use that word shocked, but cost thousands of dollars is going to go in my body paragraph number 1. I know that he did research. Remember, his dad asked him to Google it, and he was interested in finding out how blind people read. So I have all of that information already. So now I'm going to look through, curiosity, think up something. It can be done. I know that, his first goal, right, as the founder of Braille Go Lab. So I might put that. I might put on here in my graphic organizer that he then, by creating something, he started his company. And I'm going to pull it from here, Braille Labs. Okay. And then I could say he really wanted to, what was the purpose of this was to, create an, what do we say, affordable, right? Printer. And I could say for the blind, but I know that that's my key pieces. Now, watch this. I'm going to introduce my main idea when I start my paragraph. I'm going to use my cited evidence to back up my main idea. Okay. I'm going to now have 1, smart solutions. That's my first sentence. Research on why printers cost so much. And then started his company because of that research. He created an affordable printer. And with that, right, he became a very determined, and I'm going to use that determined, and I'm probably say entrepreneur, or I'm going to put young man. For right now, I might go back and change that to entrepreneur because that's a really good word to use. But he became a pretty determined young man. So right here I have one sentence because I'm going to connect my A and C together. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here sentences, and that's my explanation. See how easy that is once I start pulling from what I already found in my article. So let's practice and do the second one together. And so you might want to pause the video if you need to get your first one down. But I'm going to go ahead and go on to the second one without putting a pause break in there so that you can kind of see what the next tip is. So I'm putting my blue pen down. I'm going to grab my green pen so that I can get my second or next step. Let me try to move my computer a little closer to you. All right, so my next step now, I'm looking at step number 2, which is money. That was my main idea. So I'm going to go back to my article and I'm going to look and see if I can find a sentence, one sentence, that is the best to explain how the money, right, got him started. So I'm going to go back here and I know that I had kind of the startup. I'm going to, because of his printer, invited to the White House, received many awards. I'm not going to use that. That doesn't really go with money. Youngest owner of a tech startup company. To receive venture capital funding. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe. Let me just make sure though, because I want to make sure it's given to new companies. So that's kind of giving me definition, but the world's youngest owner, that's not a bad idea. The money came from Intel, the world's largest maker of computer chips. Maybe I should use that one. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to decide. So I'm going to use the money came from Intel, one of the world's largest makers of computer chips. So I'm going to probably need to explain, and then I'm going to make sure that I later use that venture capital piece. But I'm going to use this right here. The money came from Intel. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to my graphic organizer, and I am going to be able to put in here my main idea, and here is my cited evidence. So my quotation marks, and remember, I'm only giving just pieces to start it. So the money came from Intel. And I'm going to put, remember that, I'm going to put a comma here, but dot, 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 because I'm going to finish that in my writing, but not necessarily on my graphic organizer. Now I'm going to go back. Remember, I'm going to think, okay, what in the article is going to help me figure out how he, one, used the money, and then what helped him, that money, how did it really help his company? So I'm going to say he got the money because he was the youngest, right? I'm going to go back to my article. He was the youngest owner of the tech startup company to receive capital funding. I'm guessing that's probably why he got it, because he was the youngest owner of a tech startup company. So I'm going to put that in there. His first step was he was young, right? Young. And had an idea, right? Had a technology idea. And I can go back and make that a better sentence in my writing, but for right now, remember, I'm just jotting down ideas. So I know he was young, and he's technology, and he also, my next one is, the reason he got, or what funding he got, was venture capital funding. And I'm going to give that definition of venture capital funding, maybe even in that next sentence. What is it? And remember, it was money given for, let's go back to our article, money given to new technology companies to get them started. Now, remember, I don't want to copy that because that's citing evidence, and I don't want to cite. So in my own words, money given for new, let's say, technology. I wonder if I could change that word. I don't know, technology devices. Okay, so I like that technology devices word. That's pretty good, and it's not exactly from there, so I know that's money given for new technology devices, or given to, maybe I might put businesses when I get to my writing piece, but I'm going to know that's where I'm going to kind of use. And then let's see, what else from the article is going to allow me to kind of give information of what the money did. So I'm going to go back to my article here, and I know that if I go down to the bottom of the article here, it says the money from Intel will allow Braille to hire engineers and product designers so that Shabaham can do what? Concentrate on school. Well, I'm going to use that. So I'm going to underline it with my green here so that I know that's what I'm going to use, so he can concentrate on school. And that's the money from Intel. So I'm going to go back and highlight that so I know and you know that we're going to use that in here. So in my own words, I know that the money is going to go to hire people to help. Okay? Who is it going to hire? Engineers. Now I'm going to also do this. Explain what an engineer is. And I'm going to be able to put another dot here because I also want to give product design. And remember earlier when we talked about you might want to look these up, I'm also going to explain that. So I'm going to have a really good paragraph here. I feel like that's pretty good. There's 5, so each one of these is a sentence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm pretty proud of myself. 6 ideas here. That's going to be my explanation of my cited and my main idea. Okay, so see how that works? It's pretty easy once you put it all together. That gives you your paragraph. And you're going to see this as we start to move into how-to paragraph. So the next one, now we're going to go on to our last body paragraph. But before I do that, I'm going to have you pause the movie because I want you to actually attempt to do what I did. I want you to actually show me in number 3, what can you do? Can you group your ideas from your article and give evidence? So pick up your next color pencil, circle your number just like you already have, and then I want you to go ahead and get started and see if you can give me a cited evidence and an explanation for not enough customers. So go ahead and pause the movie and get started on that. All right, guys, so you had the opportunity to go ahead and get that third body paragraph. We're going to go ahead and look at it together and see if you've got some of the same things I did now. It doesn't have to be exact, but my goal is, or your goal is, to make sure that you have a main idea and that your cited evidence matches and that your explanation gives the reasons why we are concerned about this problem. Okay, so although I am using a yellow pen, I wanted to make sure that you can see that. So I'm going to go into the article and I'm going to make sure that I check out my evidence first. So I know that the experience of creating is where our problem started, but it was a little bit before. Now more people can afford a printer, so let's kind of look back at what we highlighted in that section. So I have Braille printers start about $2,000 per person, so that's pretty expensive. They cost at least $10,000 for schools and businesses. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to use that in my body paragraph. It doesn't really tell me that the problem is there's not enough people or not enough customers. So I'm going to leave that there, and I might actually bring that into my introduction or conclusion, but I'm going to go further down. So where it says the experience of creating, I'm going to look at this body paragraph here, and then I am going to focus in here. So possibly the biggest challenge facing Braille is whether it can get enough customers. So there it is. Ooh, that might be probably the one that I use for cited evidence. So I'm going to go ahead and underline that for my cited evidence. And hopefully that's the one you use. So I'm going to make sure that I put that on my graphic organizer. So it starts possibly the biggest challenge. Okay, and then remember we're going to put that kind of that dot, not necessarily we need really to include all of it, but I want to make sure that I know what I'm including in my cited evidence. So then I'm going to go back to my article to make sure that I have all the information I need. So really, how do I explain that they can't get enough customers? Well, let's say it says some experts say the demand, it's a really good word, for Braille printers will drop as more advanced technology is available. I could have used that for my cited evidence, but I bet I can use that as paraphrasing. So I'm going to kind of pull this, and then I'm going to go down to my explanation boxes. So I know that a challenge he's going to face in the future is one, the reason why the biggest challenge is not going to have enough customers is because new technology. Now, many of you I know would probably stop there, but that's not really where you can start. That's only one sentence. That's not enough to justify that. Now, in the article, it actually gave me some evidence. It already gave me some examples, like the smartphones are equipped with what? Braille screens. Now, I don't exactly know what those are, so I'm not sure I'm going to use the Braille screens, but I do know what an app is that can what? Read aloud text. So I'm going to use that piece of information. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to put new apps. So I might say new technology, for example, there's a new app, and then the new apps, what do? They read aloud. Now, I put this on the same line, but I technically could really make probably 2 sentences out of it, but I don't know. Can you make 2 sentences, or is that still the same idea? I'm going to see if there's any other things that I need. I know since the new technologies read aloud, I might need to explain why that's important to a blind person. So they wouldn't be able to carry around a printer all day long, or it would be very challenging to carry around a printer, and you can't carry around written material all the time. So a phone is really easy and can really, phone can read almost anything. I know Siri reads for me, and I might put example right here, Siri, because that's what Siri does. So I might put that as an example here. And then I have 2 more sentences so that I really need to fill in. So it says, that I could go up here and say that the cost now, or even, I don't know if I could put that. If I talk about the cost, that's after or before the invention. So no, I don't think I can use that either. So how about this? I know that not many people now, only 10% of the people actually right now read Braille. So if we're already starting with only 10%, is it really going to grow even just because we have a printer since we have the phone? So 10% read now. What about the future? We have these new apps. Will, more people get a printer or less? The phone, I think, might be cheaper. And that might be something I use. Phones are cheaper than a printer. I mean, I know that it's $350 for even this new printer, but a phone I can purchase at one time, and then I'm going to have to pay the monthly fees. But I bet there might be some other costs that maybe go along with that, like paper or repairs or, just use over time. So I don't know. A phone I think might be cheaper in the long run. So I'm going to bring that in. Now, if you have some other ideas, you certainly can bring those in too. But I know that it's going to be kind of interesting or definitely important to bring in my thoughts on this because the topic does say I have to have my own thoughts. So that would be one of my own. So you see how you're able to put all of those ideas by connecting it. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences that explain my sight and my short answer or my main idea. So now that you have that set up, the next step would be to build a body paragraph, and that becomes very easy. So I can't wait to show you in the next video, but you're going to go ahead and have to go back over because you have one more step. What is it that you want to use or include in your introduction? And that's where you're going to get one more color pencil, and you're going to go and kind of highlight those things you want to use in your introduction or highlight pieces you want to use in your conclusion. And remember, they have to be meaningful, and also they can't cite any evidence. They have to be able to engage your reader. So you guys have been doing a really great job with introductions, but pull in some of those pieces. Maybe that he's won an award. I don't know about you, but sometimes I think middle schoolers might be a little lazy. So is this a way to prove that maybe middle schoolers aren't as lazy as we think? Maybe it's that some middle schoolers get in trouble all the time. And this is a way to keep those middle schoolers from, staying out of trouble, is that they're actually able to start up a company. I don't know about you, but if I can interest myself in becoming an entrepreneur, just like this gentleman who's in, middle school, I think I could probably interest a reader. It's just how to do that. So work on it. Introduction, pull a few pieces. Conclusion, a few pieces. If you want to jot them down on your graphic organizer, you certainly can do that so you don't lose those few pieces that you need. And then we're going to come back and be building not an introduction, but a body paragraph using what we have with our graphic organizer. All right, good luck, guys.